Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah, no, I'm trying to remember how the theme song goes. I should have had it ready so I could play it. Anyway, hello and welcome to Refrigerated Pizza, where we order pizza and we refrigerate it and then we eat it later and we review it. ReLive. Did that actually go on? I was just waiting for it to pop up.
I hope that was live. I
I
really
did
hope
too.
that was live.
Okay, Dustin says it's live. Hello and welcome to Critical ReRoll, the Critters podcast, where we review Critical Role. This is episode 41, 45 of our podcast. We're covering 71 of Critical Role. We're doing a big live episode because we've been doing this for a year now. My name is Matt. I'm kind of going to lead the discussion, but with me I've got other hosts. If you guys want to go ahead and introduce yourselves. Jess.
Was I next? Sorry. I'm Jess or go_JG, and that's all I have to say.
Hi, I'm Andrew. I'm the loud voice of Crit Roll Stats.
And I'm not a host, but I'm a guest and a behind-the-scenes person, I guess, for this podcast. And I'm Kimmy at Miss Kimmy D85.
And I'm Herky, also known as Hercules. And you can find me on the internet doing things sometimes and making bad jokes.
Say your Twitter.
It's on the screen. It's at Hercuavello.
God. Start over.
Okay. Welcome to Refrigerated... I'm just kidding.
No.
So this episode was mainly combat, planning and combat, but we kind of had the cliffhanger with them all getting ready to summon Yank the Garistro to fight Vorigol, the White Dragon. Starting out, did you guys think Scanlan would be able to do it? I know a lot of people were trying to do the math on if he had a good chance of summoning him.
I was doing the math on how likely he would fail.
What was that math?
Let's see. With all the benefits, he had a 94% chance of success. So that's with advantage. That's with the, his bardic inspiration in play. So really, he had a really good chance of succeeding. That said, he still rolled relatively low and just barely made it.
Oh, man. And we'll get to that in a second. But starting out, they kind of stopped Matt during his recap of the previous episode. They were going into the party wakes up the next morning and Laura's immediately like, no, wait. Maybe we shouldn't do it just yet. Which I thought was great because that's in true Vox Machina fashion. They're never ready. I personally, I didn't think Ashley was going to be there. She hadn't tweeted like the whole week. But as soon as they maybe we could get Pike, I was like, damn it, she's there, isn't she?
Damn it, she's there.
Well, I mean, not bad damn it, but super cool damn it.
So this is the first time I'm going to bring this up. Probably be sprinkled out throughout the rest of the episode. But I've actually been watching on Alpha. I'm in the beta for that. And they actually spoiled that. If you watch the Alpha stream instead of the Twitch stream, they actually had Pike's logo in between Vex and Grog to start the show. And they removed it after a couple minutes. But if you saw that, then you probably had that sort of inkling that she was stalling for a reason.
I also had Alpha up, but I was watching between Twitch and Alpha. I didn't actually pay attention. So good catch.
You mean you don't have an infinite number of eyes to watch all of the media come in as the episode goes?
We're only a team of 4, you guys.
4,000 eyes. But yeah, they said something. And so did Pike actually have the stone? I don't remember her having it. I thought they gave it to Cassandra. Not that I care at this point. I'm happy she had it because it worked.
I'm pretty sure Pike was the last one with it. Okay. I don't know. At this point, it's hard to tell.
Yeah, at this point, it doesn't matter because we got Pike back. So they go with this plan. They send Laura, Ravenvax, and Scanlan back down to Tuma to talk to her, even though she's a crotchety old lady. You don't want to wake her in the middle of the night, even though they did twice. That whole exchange, I don't understand her. Her bones break on a daily basis, it seems like, and she just pops them back in. Certified badass. But yeah,
but then they never showed up.
That's true, and
they just never came.
Right. One of my favorite tweets of that was like, "Oh, they're going to show up 15 deaths late with Starbucks." But yeah, that one went by a lot smoothly, or more smooth. I don't know how to talk. Then I thought it was going to go down. I think it helped having Laura there talking or speaking Draconic. I thought she might have attacked them on the spot or like jailed them until the next day for like constantly coming in and they didn't have any weapons. So that would have been fun.
It seems like they kind of just broke her down. She was just like, all right, fine, this again, whatever.
Well, the rest of the Raven Knights were happy to delay the day because they were all running around. It's like, oh crap, okay, no sleep. I guess this is going down. And so it's like, oh wait, we get a day. Okay, everybody go back to sleep. It's fine. It's fine.
Oh man, yeah, they probably love that. Being able to plan a little bit longer instead of doing it live.
Well, and I hate to say that it was out of character decisions, but that's what it felt like. Because when it's the second Laura, the second Laura had Vex try to delay it, I actually said in the chat in here in Critters D&D, a bunch of us get together and watch it together and chat in here, and I even said, I feel like she's trying to delay this for Pike. I mean, it made sense story-wise, but it felt very forced to me. So at the same time, I didn't feel like Matt was gonna, I don't know, push it, because he knew that the reason for the delay was an out-of-character thing that they couldn't help. So I just didn't see him fighting it.
Yeah, and the funny thing about that is Vex actually didn't even mention Pike at all. When she was clearly the one stalling, it wasn't until Keyleth actually mentioned we should go back and get Pike that even came up. So it was a little tricky there.
Yeah, she didn't, but I mean, it's like, I don't know, I guessed something in her mannerisms made it seem like actually Laura was pushing it off, and the only thing I could think of was for Pike. And
it's kind of reminiscent. Yeah. Now that you mention it, I kind of do feel that way, and also kind of felt that way when Marisha found the little scrying sigil thing on Percy's gun. That was like, it happened immediately after the episode started. I was like, okay, maybe she did read some tweets.
Yeah.
But still, like, they would have come to that conclusion in game, except for this Pike one. That one was kind of because she's in town. But if she makes it in town, like, you want to have her on.
Absolutely. Right. Yeah. I don't think it took anything away.
The other funny thing about that is, and I guess a couple of us picked up on this too, but some people maybe didn't notice. Travis actually went to go get Ashley in the middle of the episode. Yeah. He was just like, he just started coughing and was like, I gotta go pee, after like looking at his phone, and ran off, and that was clearly when he went to let like Ashley into the studio.
Yeah, Laura's next to him like pointing at her phone. But yeah, no, she got to come. That was super surprised for everybody not watching Alpha. And then in truer Vox Machina fashion, as soon as Pike joins the team and they make their first stealth roll, it is not one, but it is 2 natural ones. And that was my favorite part of the beginning of the episode, because when she starts falling down, because they crack the ice and it starts going down the ravine, Laura's like, why are you trying to kill her? And Sam called it, was like, yes, Matt, why did you roll those 2 natural ones for them?
That's right.
He has that power.
He does. He controls everything. That was definitely his fault, not Ashley. Ashley would never roll 2 natural ones. There's just no way.
Absolutely not. Before this whole thing, I do have a funny note with Keyleth finally getting to play with Vestiges, though. That was a fun little scene for her, because she's like, I'm the last one, guys, but she got to play with Finthris and Whisper as like a 12-year-old.
Oh my god, didn't she stick the dagger into the bow and try and launch it? Like,
absolutely.
Sweet combo move.
Brilliant.
And then
how that didn't just blow up everything.
Yeah.
But imagine if that like worked for real. Like if you were just shooting an arrow, but that arrow was Whisper, like you would do so much damage.
It'd be like Power Rangers or Transformers when they all join together to make one super ultimate like weapon thing.
Exactly.
Oh, that's
and the best part is, if you kill somebody with Whisper, like fired through Fenthris, it turns into a teleporting tree.
Yeah. Teleporting.
Okay, hold on. Do you teleport through the tree, or does the tree itself just teleport periodically?
I think it has to be the second one.
You teleport into the tree, so like he would die, but it would be really cool one time.
It would be really cool. That would be like a cool twin moment, like, you know, the bad guy's getting away, so she takes Whisper, shoots it, so she's got an extended range, and then if it makes contact, then he can maybe smoke up to it, or Nightcrawler to it.
I feel like once they get all of them, they need to try to put them all together and kind of have a Voltron vestige and see if something cool happens.
They really do.
Krog's like, I'll form the torso and the legs and probably the arms also. Pike forms the head. Pike needs a vestige. Anyway, moving forward, they the next day they all decide to scout, and that's where Keyleth shows that she's got a new spell. She wants to turn everybody into animals, but with Keyleth's spells of either turning everyone into animals or into mist, they're all always at a disadvantage because they can't talk while in those forms. So I guess.
I mean.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes and no. Like, if they were all animals, couldn't they talk to each other in their own animal talk? If they were all the same animal, wouldn't they be able to understand each other better? They'd at least be able to communicate somehow, right?
But so would they have to all be the same animal then, is what you're claiming? Like, would they all be bunny rabbits? Or would they, like... Because, I mean, if one person's, like, a bunny rabbit and the other person's, like, a wolf, I feel like those two animals can't communicate much past, like, I'm gonna eat you.
Well, of course not. But maybe if they were the same animal, they would at least be able to know that. Well, I don't know. I just really wanted to see animal shapes. That's all.
With most of those type of spells where you like communicate telepathically which is what the sending stone earring things are supposed to do. They don't actually have to talk. They just like whisper and speak in each other's minds. I think you just have to be able to understand a language. So I think the only difficulty is being an animal that can speak one. And then, like,
the animal has to actually be able to, like, form words, right?
Right. Maybe they could convey emotions like, you know, scared, so don't go towards that part of the Rocky Mountain or whatever. I don't know. That's interesting.
Well, because even when Matt is explaining how Vex talks to Trinket, he says it's less words and more emotions and sort of like you're conveying larger thoughts.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I do like when Matt's like, technically, I guess you could be misty animals, and it's Marisha that shoots him down like, oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
That's stupid.
It seems like you could be Patronuses. No, that's dumb.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I love anytime they bring up Harry Potter. They're all just huge, doofy nerds. Let's see. God, the notes at the beginning, it's all just planning. They come up with the idea to kind of make crow's nests or, like, baubles, whatever they want to call them. I don't know what words they used. But they want to use Keyleth's, Move Earth, to create little outcroppings for Vex and Percy. Do you guys think it was kind of Matt throwing him a bone when he had Vorgol leave off? Because he knew, like, okay, these are good ideas. I'll let him have it.
I can't remember what it is you're talking
about. Vorgol went out during that day. And, yeah, I think that was Matt just kind of giving them a little bit of, yeah, you guys can have some time here to do what you want and set up and prepare.
Oh, when Vorgol left, you mean? Oh, yeah, no, that's exactly what I thought too. Because, yeah, he was just giving them time to check out the terrain without having to worry about Vorgol be sitting there and, you know, seeing them every second.
Yeah, because it's probably going to sound just like jackhammers. Mystical jackhammers. What would you guys do to prepare for a dragon battle, knowing all of the stakes and what all you're trying to bring in, you know, like an extra dragon and a interdimensional fiend?
Actually stay in the mansion and hide. Stay in there and hide, damn it.
Hey, you say that, but we'll find out later that both Vex and Percy, the two who stayed outside of the mansion, were the two who got hit the least in that battle.
Well, yeah, let's skip ahead to that.
It's true.
Hold on. You forgot the most important part.
Oh no, I know.
They were planning. And that's Kima hanging out in the freaking mansion, eating chicken, and being a buff little badass that she is.
Doing one-handed push-ups. Yeah, no, I like the new dynamic, or not the new dynamic, but the, I guess, more heightened dynamic between her and Scanlan. They hate each other.
Oh, yeah.
It's my favorite, I guess, no TP. Is that a thing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, as soon as she's like, you know, help me put on my armor, he's like, me? No, not you.
Yeah, and then he didn't heal her later, and then she didn't heal him later. And...
Oh man. I do like.
They're gonna have really angry sex at some point. I think it's gonna be something that Scanlan just says.
Nope.
It's gonna be something that Scanlan is just like. And then I wake up and Kima walks out of my room, and he's just not gonna even let Matt go with it. He's just gonna say it.
Someone's gonna do art.
That doesn't make it true, though.
I don't care. I see Sam doing it. I'm calling it now.
Okay. Well, that's Kim's call for the episode. I'm gonna write that down.
For the entire episode.
Yep.
That's all I got from the entire episode.
But yeah, no, I love when Matt gets to play the NPCs that are with the party, because it's like his chance to get to hang out more with them. And when he's Kima, he does the best facial expressions. Like when she's trying to pocket the chicken, and Sam's like, "It's gonna disappear as soon as you leave," and she's just like this face of defeat, like ugh, and then he eats the whole thing. Except when he threw the bone, he made a clanging noise, so I was kind of confused there.
Depends what she hit.
Oh, that's a good point.
Well, what is
the
metal?
Bone hit metal? And then the metal hit another piece of metal.
A metal chicken.
A metal chicken. It's different kind of metal.
Oh my god.
So they do all this planning back when they get Kima, give her the stone, have her bamf over to them. Then Sam and Ashley mistwalk, or whatever that spell's called. I always forget. They call it like windwalk, mistwalk. They rejoin the party. They're about done with their planning phase, and then another person strolls in, and it's a little dwarf. And immediately, like, I'm sure 97% of the community, everybody watching, everybody on the screen knew what it was, or what they were. You could tell Sam knew, and he was just acting his part, which I love. But poor Liam. Yep. So we meet Larkin, who's a dwarf that has the story of being a mercenary, a dragon mercenary, that they've hired from Whitestone. Ashley also has no idea and attempts to speak in Dwarvish to him, and then Laura kind of is like, no, that's Raishan. And then they go into the mansion, and I love every time someone's like, we should probably keep an eye on them, and Percy's just like, I don't know why you would even bother. She's been doing whatever she wants this whole time. You can watch her do it if you want. But they're getting ready to close for the night. Go ahead.
It was just funny how, since Ashley didn't know who she was, she actually tried to speak to him in Dwarvish, which is, first of all, it's great because they never get to speak Dwarvish anywhere, ever. I don't know if anyone else even speaks Dwarvish besides her. So it was cool for her to like actually pull that out of nowhere. But yeah, it was kind of funny because Raishan doesn't speak Dwarvish, so they clearly almost gave him away to everyone. And other people still didn't get it. It took Sam, and I have these written down because I actually timed it. It took Sam 3 minutes, entire minutes of gameplay to realize that it was Raishan. And then, we find out later that Liam doesn't actually figure it out until 11 minutes later, once he's told.
Yeah, Sam, I thought, and you said it, Matt, I thought Sam was pretending that Scanlan didn't know. He wasn't. Sam actually didn't realize for several minutes that was Raishan, and he didn't admit that until we found out later that Liam hadn't realized either. And then Sam was like, I didn't know at first either.
I like that part because Liam gets so into character. He was spent years on theater doing stage stuff, and then they're all actors doing voiceover. So he was in character and just like, we don't know where the fuck Raishan is, what she's gonna do, and then everyone just kind of like zoomed in on him. Sam's face was great because he's like looking at him like he was about to make a joke, and then he like squints his eyes like, are you serious, man?
He's like, nope, it's me, guys. I'm the last one.
Yeah.
He raises his hand.
It was great. But if you go back and watch, I mean, I know Taliesin knew, but that little exchange kind of made it look like he didn't fully know. I don't know. I kept looking at his face.
I think he was just so surprised that Liam didn't know.
We're all gonna die.
Yeah. It was kind of like an oh shit.
Oh, God.
Maybe we shouldn't be doing this.
Oh man. So they go to break, everyone laughs at Liam. And he like backtracks on Twitter like, I'm just I could make excuses about how busy my week was, but I just didn't know. So good on him for owning up to that. That was hilarious. So next day, they come back from break, wake up, long rest, all that fun stuff. It's do or die day. What do they do immediately in the morning to prepare? I think, do they just get all in their spots?
Well, first they do Hero's Feast before going to bed.
That's right. They come back. That's when I did think of the Jackie Chan uncle. One more thing. Because they kept doing that the whole episode. That's probably what I'm going to call this one. But yeah, they have Hero's Feast, and that was pure genius, even though that was one of the first things they thought about when going up against the Green Dragon, because it is a poison dragon that gives you poison immunity.
I don't even think that was something that they really thought about or mentioned too much. It's just the thing they do. Whenever they go into any big battle, they have a feast the night before. I think once they realized that it actually gave immunity to poison, they were like, oh, maybe this will be useful if Raishan actually tries to attack us.
True.
But the HP actually became incredibly relevant, and then the poison
Absolutely.
became relevant once.
As did the immunity to fear.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, that's it too.
Question for you guys watching Alpha. When Matt kind of went through and had everybody say what their hit points increased, did that also change on the stream?
That's actually what I was going to mention. I didn't notice exactly, but I did, because I watched it live on the Twitch stream, and then I watched it later on Alpha. What I did notice, was that he had everyone actually announce what all of their HP gain was, which I thought was weird. They never do that any other time. You just trust them to write it down. But it's because in Alpha, they actually have their live HP total on the screen all the time. So they needed to know, for the people who are updating that actual stream on Alpha, to actually add that to their HP. Okay. I assume that happened, but
did.
I don't know exactly.
Actually, fun fact, I've gotten to talk a little bit with the producers on that. Haven't contributed anything yet, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, they did have that updated and double-checked with us to make sure they had it right. So yeah, they did get it.
Wait, they double-checked with you with crit roll stats?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep.
Very
You
cool.
should be on the payroll.
Cool. Yeah, that was just... I was interested there. I kind of want to know, moving forward, what all extra things Matt's going to have to incorporate during stream with Alpha moving forward, but we'll see that as it happens. So yeah, they get everybody in position after having their non-chicken related meal for the first time in the mansion. And then it is all eyes turn to Scanlan as he goes out. I like the way Matt did it with the counting down of the minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes. I inspire myself. And everyone immediately tried to put on their strongest face because they knew they were going to break. You can't not with Sam Riegel in the room. And he does the best bardic inspiration I've heard to date, because I immediately laughed as soon as he started. Scanlan, you're... Oh, God, I can't even remember it now. I'm thinking about it laughing.
Give me a second. We've got it written down.
I know. I actually can't remember.
God, it was so good. It just blocks it out of your memory. You can't
I mean,
do
I know
it
what
yourself.
it is. I just don't know how it
broke our
starts.
minds. It was so amazing.
Yeah. And I've listened to it 10 times.
I'm staring at it. Where are you?
Palms are sweaty. There we go.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, man.
It was Eminem.
Yep. I love Travis breaking is always my favorite because he tries not to. But he had to cover his face for one of the first times. Do y'all have any favorite people who react to Sam's things on screen other than Liam, because we know he's the best?
I mean, Travis's reactions to everything is always the best. And I mean, Mom Spaghetti is pretty much the most legendary song in my mind ever. So when Sam goes in and turns it into Grog Spaghetti, it's pretty much the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Even Matt started laughing, and he usually does, but it was an audible, I don't know. He lolled, he LOL'd, and that never happens. And I never say that out loud. That was weird. But yeah, no, he succeeds by one, I guess, point. What are the individual units in an ability?
19 was the DC. 20 was what he rolled with his inspiration and with advantage. So
and with his
total...
natural +8 that he gets. right?
Yeah, he gets
+8,
yeah,
right?
he gets the +6 for charisma, +2 for jack of all trades, so that gets him +8, and yeah, that's the full modifier.
So with everything
plus,
else,
plus advantage. Yeah,
he barely made it 11, 12. I know math. That is. I want to know what he rolled. Did he ever say what he actually rolled?
No, we didn't get that.
Come on.
I mean,
man.
if we know the modifiers, then we know his highest roll should have been 12.
Right. Well, but it's split between 3 dice because he had advantage, so we don't know what those 2 are, and then we don't know what his D12 was.
Oh, right. Good point.
Yeah.
Yep.
Numbers.
Yeah.
But he succeeds, and Matt does what he does and kind of makes it a cliffhanger of, you think you casted it right. But we get to meet Yank the Garistro. I like the little, when he's like, this portal opens, he's like, away from me. I like when they add little modifiers into their spells, like while it's happening, just to not screw themselves over. But yeah, no, this big lumbering goat man comes out of the abyss. And Matt has him roll a stealth check, and he gets a 7, and everyone's like, God, why can't we do anything? And that's kind of when the fight starts. So immediately when Scanlan was seen by Yank, what was going through you guys' minds?
Well, I thought it was interesting that, like, Scanlan was trying so hard to listen to hear if Voragal was coming, and he, like, didn't hear anything. So, like, from his perspective, he wasn't even sure how well this was going to go down. But after he got gate open, then there was the moment, and then Matt finally made the, like, whoosh, whoosh noises about, like, the wings of him coming down. But yeah, didn't the monster basically look at him directly in the face pretty much immediately?
And he said something in Abyssal. Yeah, I want to know. This is what he said.
Pretty much.
Just like, what did you do? I was in the bathroom.
That was honestly, and I guess we haven't gotten to what happens immediately after that, but that was like the most intense couple minutes of Critical Role that I've ever seen. I mean, personally, like, casting a gate spell is not something that almost ever happens, and it was kind of amazing to me that they actually chose to use it for this purpose. So the fact that he's casting a gate spell and then needs to roll for it, and is so close and inspires himself with a great song, which he finishes after the actual Grog Spaghetti with the classic "You're good enough, you're smart enough, and gosh darn it, people like you."
Oh, that's right.
And then, of course, we move into, on his turn, I'm a little afraid that, he's going to get hit by this thing and, get one-shotted or something. But we know that Scanlan, when he rolls well in his initiative, he can get away.
Oh yeah.
But of course, he doesn't decide to do that because he's Scanlan, and instead decides to sing at this thing.
The best. Everyone's like, just dimension door, bamp over to the door, go inside. I sing at it.
That was fantastic.
And he does another
Scanbo all over again, man.
Oh man, he can't be
Rambling.
stopped. It's the 2 gnomes in the group. They're the most badass. Like, it doesn't matter what anybody else does. Those 2 are the most badass members of Vox Machina. And I will fight you if you disagree. But yeah, so he gets a 21 on the initiative check, gets to go before Yank, and decides to dominate monster, which I didn't even know he had. I don't think anybody knew he had it.
Nope, this is the first time we've seen him use it.
Oh,
Yep.
God. Go ahead and walk us through that one.
Which, dominate monster?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't have the spell description up right now, but it is his 8th level spell, which is the first time we've seen it. Basically, it's like dominate person, except you can use it on monsters.
Nice. And do we know what sort of buffs Yank might have had to not be overcome by it?
He has a +1 wisdom, so...
He was screwed.
Nope. Oh, saving throws. +7 to saving throw.
Oh, wow. That's pretty good.
But the DC was still 21, so he still had to roll
It's
pretty
still
well.
21.
True. Yeah, no, that was great. He dominates him. He's like, you will stay and you will kill a white dragon. And he does it with the best song.
Golden Girls, yes!
Yank, you will be a friend.
Sing it, Abernathy. Sing it.
I refuse. And that's all we'll go there. But my favorite reaction this time from everybody was Laura. And I kind of want to go through with some old episodes, because sometimes when she laughs, she can't like control her arms, and they'll kind of just flail. And she kind of did that and like slapped the table a couple times. The twins in game have the best reactions, I think, to anything Scanlan does, and it's one of my favorite things to watch. But yeah, then the fight starts. We get to watch Matt play with himself for a little bit. Great streaming.
I wanted to see more of that so badly that I was looking so forward to, like, I just want to see Matt play with toys for a while.
He looks so happy.
He did. And when somebody's like, yeah, we get to see Matt make the action figure noise, and kind of laugh like a kid, and I was like, oh, this is great. Matt gets to have his own little fun for a little bit. How did you guys think this battle was going to happen? Because I know I talked about it last week on the podcast. We were talking about the mechanics, like maybe he'll have some sort of like pre-written narrative that he'll make them roll motions, but he kind of knows where his fight is going to go. Or was he actually rolling live on stream of who hit who?
I mean, from the looks of it, he was rolling the full damage for each character to their full potential. I mean, for all 6 rounds before Vox Machina got involved, he was playing them to the best of their ability. Vorgel was significantly smarter than Yank, and after initially like, okay, the instinctual, I'm going to tear into this, into my prey, then he starts realizing, oh, but I can finish him that much easier if I start flying around, and that's, Matt said as much. And even if Vox Machina stayed out of it, Yank might have gotten a few more hits in, but for the most part, I think we could have just expected to sit through Vorgel flying around, waiting for the cold breath to come back, and even at halved or quartered, depending if Yank made his save. If they hadn't intervened, it would have just been us watching Vorgel slowly whittle away Yank's health.
Yeah, there's not much he can do against a giant flying beast like that. And when you say that, Vorgel's significantly smarter than Yank, that's not an exaggeration. Yank is as smart as Grog is. So he's just a giant beast that hits things.
Yep, intelligence is 6.
Oh man,
I did not realize that.
Neither did I, and I have my book open, but it is trying to block off sound coming from my computer.
I was totally picturing him as a wise old monster. I don't know why I thought that. That was clearly stupid.
No, he's just a giant beast that demon lords use in the abyss to guard and move things for them. They're just
they use them as battering rams a lot.
Yep, they're basically giant siege monsters because they do get double damage against objects and structures.
Because I guess he seems sort of really intuitive, but it was just more reactionary, I guess.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the reason why Scanlan casting Dominate Monster was so much more useful than just noping out of there and waiting for, waiting for Vorgel to come down. Because sure, Yank probably would have attacked him, but that way he had the instructions to focus on that very first round, or I guess it's the second round because the first round was Vorgel's first ice breath. But as soon as Vorgel arrived and Yank had his turn, he was able to focus for at least 2 rounds before it's like, okay, well, there's nothing else to hit here. I'm just going to keep hitting this.
Okay. And with kind of Yank's opening attack, we also saw something that kind of went over my head the first time I watched it. And then I don't think anybody in Vox Machina really picked up on it or kind of focused on it. But when he did his gouge, he charges for X number of feet and then gets his extra gouge attack, or a charge plus a gouge. His horns burst into flames when he made contact.
Yeah, they actually talk about that a couple times throughout the thing, and they just kind of assume that he's an elemental beast. But that's not true at all.
Not at all. It wasn't until the second watch through when it's duking it out with Grog that is hits him with one fist and it's electricity, and then hits him with another and it's cold, and I was like, oh shit, now that I know what the Spire does, he's using those elements in his attacks.
It sounds like the Spire has just kind of formed into part of him, and he was able to kind of harness it and deal some extra elemental damage on all of his attacks because of that.
And that was so badass. I wouldn't have come to that conclusion. I don't think I would have been able to form a monster like that, even just a simple thing it's swallowed this thing somehow. Of course it's going to get its powers. That's just beyond me.
Yeah, it's amazing that Matt would even think and incorporate that.
Well, knowing that Yank was so stupid now, I wonder if he actually had any control over what it was doing. I kind of feel like he didn't.
No.
Probably not.
Yeah, he punched and then if it felt like shooting out electricity, it shot out electricity.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if Matt just rolled to decide if it was going to do something. I'm sure he did.
Yeah, it's probably like a D6 divided by 2 or something like that, or like a 1, 2, or 3. He'd do electric, cold, or fire. I do want to pause here, though. Do you guys think there was like a separate story we could have seen had they not pulled Yank and decided to go into the abyss? One thing that I saw that I really liked is because we know this staff now is an Ashari like leadership staff, like the leader of the Ashari had it. A lot of people were thinking maybe it was Keyleth's mom that had cursed Raishan, even though the timeline doesn't work. So
no,
I've kind of
timeline does not work out at all.
But she did go missing like 20 years previously, or in Keyleth's life.
Sure.
Could she have been like on an expedition into the abyss? That's why we haven't seen her, and that was kind of that quest to go get the Spire of Conflicts was their like quest to go find Keyleth's mother.
That would have been the one thing to save Keyleth's mom, and now they're never gonna go, and now she's stuck in the abyss forever.
That is what I was thinking.
Oh, that's really sad. I bet that's what happened.
I don't know. It's too much theory. We can't confirm anything on that, so I'm going to stay out of that discussion for now. There's not
Andrew,
enough
I'm
evidence.
pretty sure we're right. I'm pretty sure Matt and I, high five,
this...
Matt. We got it. Yeah, that was the one chance we're saving her mom ever.
Yep.
We will never see Keyleth's mom now.
Never. See, no, so like the thing in his stomach, like it was kind of bulging out. I bet if they cut a little bit more, they would have like found her arm or something.
Hey, they're finishing the looting next week.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
There's still time. Okay, so rewinding back in.
People are awful.
So we have Matt playing with his toys in front of everybody, in front of the 30,000 people that were watching. And then Vax decides to jump in, and he kind of had his moment earlier with Whisper, getting used to it, throwing against walls, being Nightcrawler, which is great because he used to voice Nightcrawler. Right? Yes.
One more time, yeah.
Wait, who did what?
I think I don't know. I could be wrong.
I'm looking it up right now.
I'm pretty sure I'm right because like I'm listening to their podcast, which if you haven't, you need to. They're all work no play. It's hilarious. They get raunchy, but it's funny. So yeah, he has.
That never happens on Critical Role.
Never. Oh no, it gets a lot worse.
Justin said yes, he did. He did.
Okay. I just found it too.
We're not.
I just found it too.
But yeah, he has his little moment.
We'll bring in the X-Men 2008.
I do like that he kind of in-game called Vex out. I'm like, why are you always on my case? That was a funny like pure brother-sister moment. Because anybody with a sibling might be able to identify with that. It was hilarious. So he uses Whisper to kind of go near the dragon's butt. Everyone was making jokes like, oh, you're not supposed to go in the dragon. But he poofs up. He does his assassinate super critical sneak attack damage. And then we kind of immediately learn the... oh, God, what's the word? Shortcomings? No... I don't know, downfall of Whisper, that it does have to make physical contact with something in order for you to be able to poof with it.
Or solid contact, yeah.
Yeah, because he kind of just throws it down and wants to go with it, but it like just clinks on the ground. It does blink back. Did it blink back? It had to have blinked back. Limitations, thank you. That is the word. God, it's nice having a little chat to call me out when I'm wrong. But yeah, we learned that. Do you guys think he jumped in prematurely, or was that kind of the perfect time because they kind of saw Vorgol losing, or not Vorgol losing, but Vorgol being smart and hovering around doing its damage?
For Vax, yeah.
Yep,
for Vax, I think it was the perfect time. Exactly. For anyone else, no, but for Vax, it was the perfect time.
It was surprising it took him that long.
Oh, really?
Also, for the sake of pacing, that was probably a good time too, because otherwise it would have just been, all right, Yank tries to attack and doesn't hit. Vorgel cold breath. Oh, he doesn't get cold breath for 3 rounds in a row. Just gonna fly around. Yank suddenly sees you. Vorgel suddenly sees you. Oh, now you don't have the element of surprise anymore.
And the flying.
So who knows?
And the dragon that's already flying continues to fly and goes away.
Oh, and then Raishan becomes Raishan. She turns back into a dragon.
Oh, that doesn't happen for a little while. Shh.
Spoilers, Kimmy.
Right. So yeah, everybody kind of decides to Jenga, and everybody that can hear it, because I do like that Matt's kind of enforcing the rule that if you're in the mansion, it is a separate pocket plane. So I like that he's doing that. So everybody that's out there starts attacking Percy, Vex, and everyone in the mansion is kind of just like listening to wait music. Like, you think they're doing okay? And Scanlan goes invisible, pokes his head out, and like, oh yeah, they're still fighting. We'll wait. I'll look in 12 more seconds. But then once everybody joins the fray, that's when it gets super fun. Marisha has the idea, because they all know Vorgel's flying around, and she took with her Earthbind. And that's her thing. She wanted to come out and immediately do it, but she has to roll initiative and rolls a 4, so she doesn't get to go. Everyone else joins the fray, but it's when Pike jumps in that it gets super badass for the other gnome. She finally succeeds on her divine intervention. What was going through you guys' mind? What did you guys think Sarenrae would do? I thought maybe like give her a magic weapon or something like that, even though she already has one. But like make her do souped up damage. What did you guys think?
I feel like Matt improvised that pretty well. I think that was kind of the perfect thing to happen. It's kind of like Flame Strike, which dealt a little more damage, and then also grounded Vorgel. We know that Sarenrae just kind of basically fisted him down from the sky, and it was super cool. And I was super hyped to see it actually happen. But I think that's about right. I don't think it should be necessarily too overpowered, but it felt like it did something. And that's exactly what they needed, was to get him on the ground, and Sarenrae knew that. So that's what she kind of made happen. I think that was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and I have a hard time as a DM figuring out what to do with Divine Intervention. And so in terms of something to improvise, I think that was perfect. It did a reasonable amount of damage. 50 is definitely worth something. And it, like you said, it grounded him, which was the most important aspect of that attack. But probably my favorite part about that, the Divine Intervention and Sarenrae punching him to the ground, is all the art that has come out of that.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say.
Yeah, go ahead, Jess. Did you see a good piece? I saw a fun piece. I think we might be.
I was actually looking for it right now. There was one of Sarenrae and the Raven Queen having tea.
That's the one. And she's like, "Hold on, I gotta take this call."
I was looking. Like, if I find it, I'll post it.
Yeah, like, everything okay? And it's like, I'm gonna go punch a dragon. Sarenrae, no.
See, there's another fun one posted this morning about where they're just talking about their heroes. Like, all right, I'm gonna punch a dragon. You do it, girl. Say hi to Max for me.
Oh man, I love that everyone draws them as like buds up in wherever they are. Just I'm gonna go punch a dragon. Be right back.
I have in this Dash chat we were talking about how it'd make like a great odd couple thing. It's like one of them is the god of death and is super messy. The other one is the god of life and is super clean. How do they get along? Like best roommates ever.
Oh man, and I love that it was like an actual punch, because it's kind of like Sarenrae's reflecting off of Pike, because that's totally what Pike would have done. Yeah, and like he's describing, a beam of light, and then, as the fist comes up, like, oh god, she literally punched a freaking dragon. God, so real quick, just because like rules, I don't want to be the rules lure guy, but with Divine Intervention, you're supposed to roll percentile dice. She only rolled 1.
She rolled a 0 though.
Right, which
is
a 10.
Her level's 13. No, it's a 0. You can't have a 10 because it's from 0 to 100.
Right. She's supposed to roll 2d10s, so the first one was a 0. So that's the 10th place. So she should have rolled the next one for the 1st place.
It's not a 10, it's a 0, because you can't go higher than 100. So if that was a 10, the next one would bring them over 100. It's 0 through 9 from 0 to 99. Like it's like the first die is the 10's digit and the second die is the 1's digit. Right. So she rolled a 0, and then the next one would have been, a 0 through 9, so she would have either rolled a 0 or a 0-9.
Okay. I did have that backwards. Those dice have always confused me. Well, then I take all of that back.
Yeah, so the only way she would actually need to roll the second die is if she rolled a 1, and then on the second die she would need to roll a 3 or lower.
That's actually a question I wanted to ask. Stats, or Andrew. Has she
Sure.
leveled up? Do we know at all? Or is she
As
still,
Pike?
Yeah, she's still
She's
at 13.
13. That was that was less than, when was the last time we saw her? She's still level 13.
Okay. But yeah, no, she joins in, and it's amazing, and then everyone dives in. She adds a little flourish of putting a flaming sword, spiritual weapon at the base of his neck. Almost forgets to attack. I'm glad that Mad reminded her, because it is just a bonus action to summon it and make an attack. And then the fight continues. Everyone is punching away until we get to Kima, who I completely forgot about. We finally figure out her oath path, I believe. Did we know that prior to this?
Oath path? No, we did not. I suspected it was what's the first one? I did not suspect it was vengeance, so this is very informative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she does her vengeance crap, runs out there and is like, oh shit, there's a lot of big things out here. But yeah, no, she uses all her movement. Was this part of Vorgel's lair with the decreased movement?
I don't think it was might not be a lair effect, might be an area effect, like because he's in his lair.
Right.
Because if we're being technical, lair effect is, this happens at the top of each round in a very specific cave or room or whatever. But by the way that you're referring to it, yes, because he resides in this area, the weather is worse because of it. So, yeah, we can't blame Vorgel for the weather.
Yeah, I don't think it was not necessarily a lair, but because he was also in a snowy area, basically like favored terrain sort of thing, he kind of had just this aura of natural beating wind around him that he kind of fed off of, the area. I kind of think that's how it worked.
Yeah, and it was after this that I wrote in my notes that, it does, or Yank does elemental damage. Is it the Spire? So yeah, the fight continues. After Kima, we finally see Larkin join in the fray with a chain lightning, which
like most mercenaries with a crossbow do.
Yeah, well, it's obviously just for show. It's the focus. Like he at the time, kind of just aims it and then does magic through it, right? Yeah, no, I'm glad she actually intervened or helped. It kind of gave everybody all this stuff with Kima running out, with Pike doing her divine intervention, and then Raishan joining in. It kind of gave everybody that extra morale to go balls to the walls crazy and just destroy both these titans on the field. So yeah, fight goes on for a while. Did you guys have any notable parts you wanted to bring up?
Just the one thing I thought was cool was just Kima in general. Being able to see her actually fight and go ham. Like, we saw her, fight a little bit back in the day, but not anything like this. It's just really cool to see her out there, like, in her element, just freaking pounding things and just burning divine smites and just dealing a ton of divine damage. That was really cool.
Yeah, no, the last couple of fights that she's been in, she gets removed almost immediately, be it petrification or thrown into a crevasse.
Friggin' beholders.
Right. Yeah, no, she burnt like a 4th level to do a divine smite, just dealing massive damage. I kind of see her and Grog as workout buddies now.
Yeah, man, they tag team Yank pretty hard.
Yeah, they did. It was all they had, because Grog did have a point, and I think with this fight, maybe he would have benefited more with Whisper. That should be an item that he and Vex swap out. Because he was basically useless against Vorgel, just kind of standing there like, I could fight the Garistro, but I kind of want to dig into this dragon. He came out, gauntlets blazing. One thing that I liked is everyone's kind of focusing more on what their spells actually do. Sam a couple times asked if he needed to roll any special saving throw for Bigsby's hand, because in the past it's just kind of been there, but it does have hit points, it does have an AC, it can be destroyed. And I like that they're all kind of focusing more in on finer details now that they've been playing for almost 4 years.
There's actually something that I'll mention at the end that's kind of the opposite of that, where people are just not paying attention to their spells. But I'll leave that until the fight's over.
All right. Let's see. Does anybody have anything else they want to throw in? Jess, Kim?
In terms of the fight?
Yeah.
I'm just scared of skipping too far to the end. Like, would it be bad of me to say when Grog, like, wishboned Yank?
No, not at all. Was this, and that was with his natural 20 hit, wasn't it? His, like, 3 hit?
That was...
Or that was later on, wasn't it?
Well, Yank had 3 attacks. The second one was a natural 20. The third one was the kick to the chest, and that's when Grog got his reaction off.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so it's before that Grog deals over 100 points. I think he deals like 129.
Oh, yeah.
He rolls a natural 20, and he's been doing all his great weapon master, everything that he can throw at this thing. So he nat 20s it, gets like, I don't even know how many dice, because it's a d12 for his weapon, a d4 for the necrotic, and then he got 2 extra d12 for brutal critical.
Plus 10 for Great Weapon Master. They actually forgot to add his modifier on that one, so it should have been an extra plus 6. I did notice that when they were calculating. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It wouldn't have mattered either way, but it would have been even more.
That was crazy, and he still just took it. These things had to have, well, I guess we can ask, do you know their max HP at all?
Wait, sorry, you're listening to me. I'm
cool.
looking at the chat, and I just realized that Lemmy's here. It's like, what the hell?
Lemmy, I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, we're all, I think, distracted.
She's watching from her hospital room.
You go, girl. Okay, sorry. Damage totals. We weren't able to get the full totals because when Matt was playing by himself, everybody is really loud.
True.
And then Matt just stopped saying numbers because they weren't paying attention. So what we do know is Yank took 396 damage plus whatever the unknown was, and Vorgol took 823 plus whatever the unknown is.
Damn.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which, fun fact, Umbrasyl had 850.
Oh, wow.
Although he had a lot more if you count the 2 battles, including how much he healed up. But in terms of like total health, I don't know. We're looking at close to maybe just over 900 for Vorgol total health.
That's crazy. I mean, they are level 15 characters, 14, 15.
With a bunch of vestiges.
Yeah, everybody's
and
got
allies.
And allies.
Allies.
Which, let's go ahead and talk about that. Where were the Ravenites? Ravenites. Do you guys have any guesses? Mine would be that it would just be too many things on the field for Matt to have to deal with, so he just put them aside.
I mean,
figured that was yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think part of it was also like, okay, our role is to get him out here. I don't think they were going to wait and or lie in wait like the Herd of Storms. And part of that also was, I think Matt also kind of did that to make Vox Machina feel better, because if any of them died en masse, then they would have felt really bad. It's like, well, crap, we did it again.
I mean, you can't wage a war against dragons and not be able to accept casualties, especially when it's a willing party to like fight with you.
I mean, that's true, but it's still, these are the people who live here, and we're just going to sacrifice them so we have another victory. And even if war will have casualties, but it's Vox Machina. They're still trying to protect the people who live there.
People between the ages of like 12 and 65. Anything past those, you either you get killed or accidentally choked by vines.
It's true.
I think Kima was smart. I think they had no intention in getting into the fight with Vorgol. They would, kind of just act as middle people, allow Vox Machina to bring him out there and kind of give information to both sides and let them fight. But if they had actually fought with him and they had lost, they would all be wiped out. So I think Kima's idea was more just, let's let them do it and we'll just side with whoever wins.
See, I think they might have also, if I recall one of the earlier conversations, they might have been lying in wait outside of his lair. So when he retreated, they might have been the backup plan to take him out there.
True. Like, he's all beat up, so he goes back to his lair to lick the wounds, and they're like, surprise, bitch!
Yep.
But yeah, a couple other moments that happened. Marisha tries to use Earthbind later, and that's when we find out that Vorgel's been saving all of its legendary resistances. And you could tell they kind of took him off by surprise. It had plenty of chances to use, or to like fail dexterity saving throws, strength saving throws. But this one in particular, it failed. He used the first one, and it was like, oh crap. It still has those.
You used them wisely.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think he used all of them. He only used 2.
He only used 2 out of the 3.
Yeah, I think they were kind of smart and realized that that's a thing, so they didn't really waste a lot of time casting big spells that had saving throws.
Okay. I'm being told that the Ravenites were told to wait at the lair to fight after the hunt. Which now that I think about it, I think that was the original plan, to have them duke it out and then fight whoever was left over. So I guess Vex kind of blew that one up by jumping in. Anyway, Grog gets the how do you want to do this on Yank, and it was disgusting because he ripped it in twain from the legs. Wishboned.
Which, theoretically, I guess maybe he could do. Was he enlarged?
Yes.
You guys remember?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That was the first
If he was
thing
enlarged, then maybe. If he was regular size, there's no way, because the Garistro's a huge creature.
Garisto's huge. Grog was large at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Normally
like I don't think his arm
Yeah.
span's big enough to like rip him that wide, but they made it work.
Matt did make a point of saying at one point at that you almost rip him in half.
Right.
So he says something to allude to the fact you did not completely tear him into 2 pieces.
And earlier in it, he was like, "It's kind of funny, Grog. You're now 2/3 the size of Yank." Which is just, it did things massive. And also that the new mini that Grog got for Giant Grog is pretty damn awesome.
Yeah, super cool.
But yeah, so Grog gets that one, and kind of like, which one's the lucky side to Kima. They're kind of one of the main bro TPs. So we've got no TPs.
They're totally bro TPs.
Bro TPs. And then throughout the battle, both Vax and Pike go down. Pike multiple times. She goes down.
3.
Yeah.
3 times?
Yeah, she goes down, rolls a nat 20, comes back up, goes down. Or no. Goes down, Scanlan heals her, comes up. Goes down again, nat 20's a saving throw, comes up. Goes down again. And I think that was it. And I think she succeeded on all her saving throws. It was just getting healed or rolling a natural 20 to come back up.
Yeah, Pike coming through with the clutch rolls in that episode.
Yeah, no, it's definitely all to make up for the original Nat 1 from the beginning of the episode. Vax, on the other hand, even with advantage, I think he fails a saving throw, but he only went down once, right?
Well, there was an auto fail on the first one. The second one he got, because he had advantage on the second and third.
He lost both to Vorgel's Cold Breath, I believe.
Oh, was it 2 he lost to?
That's what it was.
Yes.
He succeeded on all of them, but he had 2 automatic ones. That's right. And then in true like twin mojo moment, it's Vex's turn, and she lays into him with all her arrows. I do like that Matt's incorporating the new Ranger class, where she gets the added 2 bonus to her favorite enemy.
Yeah.
And she takes him out. She gets the how do you want to do this on Vorgel. And again, her reactions are like her little fake cry face she does sometimes. It's adorable. I can't put into words. It's funny.
She leapt out of her chair when she heard him say that.
Yeah.
It's like she won like a pageant. She's like, I killed it. And she's had this big thing about shooting everybody in the heart recently, which is badass. Listening to All Work No Play, which you can go back and listen to it, when they talk about it, they kind of joke with her because she is a phenomenal voice actress, but she's a huge nerd, and they're like, as soon as we started playing, she was immediately in character, and you couldn't find Laura anymore.
I mean, that's true of any RPG or tabletop RPG that she's on. Like, you got Titan's Grave, you got the times that she's appeared on a tabletop for Dread. You got Critical Role. Like, of all the players, she's the most devoted, like, mentally. It's pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, the devotion they have to, like, everything they do is something to aspire to. But it's during the explanation. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to go back to you mentioning the new Ranger thing. It sounded like he gave her +2 to her damage rolls.
Should have been more than that.
Well, yeah, it sounds like because he's already kind of given her more and kind of homebrewed the Ranger in his way to make it a little bit better than it is necessarily in the player's handbook. It sounded like for him it found it a little bit more fair to give her +2, whereas at her level, at level 6 Ranger with the new class, you would actually get +4 against your favorite enemies.
Yeah. Well, Matt has said before, people have asked him, oh, is Vex going to get the new changes? And he's like, okay, well, like you said, you've already been homebrewing this. We've already made a bunch of changes. And if I were to give her that brand new class with all the changes that we've already had in place, it would become very unbalanced. And so, yeah, I think the +2 is fair. There's the, he's finding what works, like he's always done. And, including things like, okay, giving Trinket the ability to not die when he's not brought to 0, or giving, all these other bonuses. Like, okay, let's make the Ranger class actually devoted to the animal that you are with and protecting, as well as actually make Trinket useful, make your damage a little bit more, make your skills more useful, such as favorite enemy.
Right.
So,
even though she still didn't use Trinket, immediately popped him out, go in the mansion.
That was a good idea. Trinket would have gone down in one cold breath.
Right. And I think she did it more so to use it as a get somebody out of jail card. Like, someone's going down, she pops them into the necklace, because she tried to do that when Percy went down, but Trinket was also unconscious already in the necklace, so that kind of one-use Pokeball couldn't do anything. So I think that was kind of the decision behind that, personally.
So while we're talking about Vex and what she did and didn't do, and now that the fight is over, she was actually the one I was referring to when we were talking about, people actually, knowing what their spells do and casting on their spells and whatnot. I don't have maybe the kind of stats that you do, Andrew, but if you go back and look, I don't think Vex cast a single spell in that entire fight. I also don't think she used Bramble Shot from Fenthras that entire fight. I think she was just kind of so frazzled that every time it was her turn, she just made regular attacks, and that was her turn. She got
Hunter's Mark off in round 8, but that's the only spell.
Yeah, I mean, she could have cast Lightning Arrow or a number of other things. And again,
she used the Blazing Bowstring, but yeah.
Every time I was kind of like, wow, she's just shooting. I think she was just kind of both feeling a little defeated that she couldn't do more, and then also that she was just so into it that she just wanted to get some arrows off. But I thought that was kind of interesting, because maybe they could have had him down a little bit earlier. She could have dealt a pretty good, significant amount more damage if she had actually cast some spells when she had shot her arrows.
True. Yeah, no, I don't know why you would hold back on a battle this big when you've got 2, possibly 3 if Raishan got pissed. Big enemies. I know in the chat that I was in, everyone was like, why aren't you using the Dragon Arrow? And yeah, the one that she currently has, she was saving for Thordak, but with Zara making her another one, she could have used it. She gave back
the one. She gave back the one that Zara gave her.
Right, but she still had one, because she had 2 before that. Used one on Umbrasyl, and then she was going to have 2 once Zara gave her the second one. She was holding on to the original one she got from fighting Rhymefang.
I suppose. I think it was in retrospect, we can all say, yeah, it was a good idea that she didn't waste that arrow when everyone else was there to take him down. But even in the middle of combat, with Raishan getting in the fray, with all things considered, I think it was wise to not waste the arrow on Voragol. Maybe she was saving the arrow for Raishan if Raishan chose to attack right then. But
true. I don't know. Even in character with her, brother unconscious, I think that would have been like a tipping point for her.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, she gets the kill. Well, she doesn't get the kill because as Matt's describing it, Vorgel, tries to fly up, hits the ravine side. The rocks come down, embedded in his chest, and then it's Raishan in her dragon form comes up and rips the throat out of Vorgel, and says something interesting, which, I mean, I'm pretty sure she was talking about Raishan, or not Raishan, but Thordak with the tell your master on the other side when you see him, it was worth it. But a little part of me that loves to speculate things. We don't really know the background of two of these dragons, of Umbrasyl or Vorgel. We don't know what it was that Raishan did to get all of the other dragons to agree to the conclave. But it kind of, with that, made me think maybe Raishan had killed its former thing that it saw as a master, and then kind of forced it to join, and that was the big reveal. Oh, I killed your master, haha, now you're dead. That's just what I like to think about. And did you guys think anything weird of that, or just kind of, oh yeah, it's Thordak?
I didn't know what to make of it. I didn't know if she was just saying it like how you would kind of kill someone, tell the devil I say hi, that's sort of what I thought it was. It wasn't necessarily that she was directly speaking that she knew who his master was going to be on the other side. I just thought it was kind of like a taunt sort of a thing. But yeah, no, maybe it was something more personal than that.
Yeah, I think there's substance to it, but I can't speculate, and I'm not sure what the backstory is of that.
Oh, come on, Andrew. Take off the stats hat.
I have never speculated on anything ever.
Okay, take the stats off. Right now you were just Andrew. You're just crit roll on Twitter. What do you think?
I'll be honest, I really don't have a thought on that. I'm not sure what that means. I don't know. Of course, my first thought is, okay, this means that she's going to have some other betrayal in place, or are her reasons for betraying Thordak different than the disease? Who knows? I do think she's diseased. I don't think she was lying about that, but I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know.
Speaking of Raishan's disease, since we're mentioning that, no one has ever noticed that before, right? The first thing that happened when the Conclave attacked Amon was they fought Raishan,
right.
And no one noticed that she was diseased or weaker than the others or smaller than the others, and they just had to run because she was so strong. Do you think that this is something that's come on more recently, or was she also diseased then and they just didn't know the difference?
I talked to the guests last week that I had, Dan and Jack, about it. When you're not expecting a dragon attack and 4 come at you, I don't think you're really going to pay attention and look oh, that thing's got a glowy thing on its neck. Is it sick? Are you okay, dragon? I better run.
Yeah, that was one of the first fights where we really saw them taking some huge hits at these guys and nothing was happening. And right. I can't imagine, I think it was noted that she was a little bit smaller.
Right. She was the smallest of the dragon, but also...
Yeah, but not... Yeah.
With them not noticing things, there was no mention originally of Thordak having a pulsing diamond or gem on its chest either. We didn't find out that until later. So I think it's just he didn't let them notice it unless they wanted to be I want to inspect these dragons while I'm running.
I mean, they were looking for Gilmore and they failed at that, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, how much are you going to notice? And it's the sort of thing where we're taking it as a longer period of time, but in while it's happening, it's seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I do believe her. I think she is diseased. I think her story's true. I don't know what else to think. I don't think she's that deceptive. I think the way she is using her deception to find a cure is all she's using it for right now. I don't think she wants to be supreme leader of whatever it is Thordak wants, which is everything.
I don't think she wants to be the supreme leader, but I do think that she's not telling the full story. I think the disease is just, the best lies are 90% true or more. And, we did our fact-checking thing. Almost everything she said that we can confirm is actually true. Mm-hmm. So, if she's lying about something, which she almost certainly is, we're not sure what that is.
And I don't think it's the dragons that gave himself these names. I think that was Matt that gave him the names.
Yeah.
But I do like when she did the big reveal of turning into a dragon, that she did have the smaller mini, and everyone's like, "Oh, she's so small," and he's like, "She's a diseased deceiver," and they're like, "Aww."
Cute little diseased deceiver. Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
So if it is all a lie, I love how Matt's playing it, getting them into this like false sense of security of, yeah, it is a smaller dragon. Is it actually diseased? No, you're gonna die.
Well, there definitely, is something more to come after, Thordak and the Conclave. So it's got to, necessarily tie into their story somehow. So it's very possible that Raishan could be related to some other bigger bad that they haven't encountered yet.
And because I see it in the chat, I personally didn't think Raishan had anything to do with the whole Vecna orb of destruction thing. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Do you think she's trying to finish whatever ritual the Briarwood started?
I don't know about the ritual, but I still can't help but feel like she has something else there. Because why else? It just felt like when they were having their initial conversation and they were arguing over like what she was going to get for helping them and what they were going to do for her, it felt like they kept taking more and more out of their offer, and it was almost like, why is she still hanging on to this? So far they haven't agreed to like anything that she wanted, except like maybe to still be in Whitestone.
Yeah, it is kind of convenient that she's been in just Whitestone this whole time. Maybe it's to spy on Vox Machina, but even when they were after that initial discussion, argument, whatever debate you want to call it, and they're about to like split ways, letting Raishan walk away, and they're like, well, should we watch her? Somebody needs to watch her. And then Percy again's like, well, we can try to watch her, but she's gonna do anything she wants. And Matt as Raishan was like, yeah, you can totally watch me, but that's not gonna stop me from doing what I want. What is it that she wants to do in Whitestone that's so important? It's got to be something more than just keeping an eye on Vox Machina.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think it's Vecna, but I think there's definitely something else there, because I don't know, I feel like she got a really, really short end of the stick, and I can't imagine such a like strong, proud dragon would do that without reasons. Meh.
This show, man. This show. It is a drug. It is pure black tar heroin.
Well, if her idea is that
it's a drug,
if her idea is that Vox Machina is the best chance of defeating the Conclave, and clearly their mindset on doing it, clearly getting herself into Whitestone and kind of mingling and learning everything about it and knowing who their friends are and everything, it was very important for her to be the diseased deceiver that she is. So maybe there isn't more to it, and that's just the prerequisite of her getting Vox Machina on her side, at least with, understanding where they are and kind of knowing their faults and knowing what they care about.
But she knows they were going to fight Thordak anyway. Like that was going to happen no matter what. And like for a sneaky green dragon to not just sit back and watch that, for her to like step up and fully reveal herself and like sort of put her cards on the table, like that can't be the whole story.
Well, and actually speaking on that, I feel like that tells us a lot about Raishan and how she feels about her own odds, because when Voragel started flying away back to his lair, Raishan, could have stayed in form and like, okay, they have no proof I'm a part of this, I'll be fine. No, she broke the form. She went after Voragel, and at that point, her doing that proves like, okay, if he gets back to the lair, Thordak's going to know that they're attacking, and the war is going to start before I can do anything about this. So her intervention was, part of her also taking Thordak by some sort of surprise, because while Thordak's going to have a little heads up when Voragel doesn't check in, that's still going to give them enough time to, get their loot together, get everything in place, get everybody out, get out of the Raven Knights hidden and whatnot. And Thordak's gonna be mad, but he doesn't know exactly where to attack, and he can try to reach out to Raishan, and as long as Raishan can get back into place, she still has a cover story like, I don't know what happened to Vorgil. I was here the whole time. He didn't see anything. So that's kind of my view on it, that her getting to Vorgil before he could get back to his lair and tell Thordak that the war is on, that was her getting ahead of Thordak before he could do anything drastic.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think? Because I know as soon as the Chroma Conclave announced itself, I immediately went to Tiamat. Do you guys think this could play any part into that? Like in this world, whatever ritual needed to bring Tiamat up needed, one powerful dragon of each of the chromatic colors to die, and like its soul be taken to Tiamat and whatever level of hell she's in, and then Raishan does some sort of sacrifice and it's all hell breaks loose.
I don't think so.
Okay, I just like reaching. It's fun.
I mean, well, because the high priest Bahamut said, I don't feel Tiamat's intervention in this in any form. So
that's right. I forgot that. Yeah. So everybody's, all the bad guys are dead. Everybody's back to life. This is the part that me being evil. With Fiends, when they're on the material plane, when they die, they're supposed to kind of turn into mist and seep back down into the abyss. I so bad wanted that to happen before they got to Spire.
Well, I think Matt was doing that. He just gave them time because it turned into ooze, but it turned into ooze slowly enough that it's like, all right, we're going to get the Spire out, and now it's turning into muck. Okay, let's leave that be.
Right.
Well, but the pouch was like, he said it was, kind of pulsing, and there were, branches and things. And so I almost kind of feel like that happening, like the staff was preventing him from fully decaying until that was removed. And then as soon as they removed it, he immediately started just falling apart.
Yeah, so I mean, theoretically, the staff isn't part of his body. So the staff itself was kind of, it won't go back, you know what I mean? It's not going to go back to the abyss. It's going to stay there. So that's probably kind of why it kind of poked and exploded out while the rest of it was trying to go away.
Right.
At least that's how I took it.
I thought it'd be fun. Like, I want to see them go to the abyss and find, parts of Kiki's mom to call that back.
I hate you guys so much.
But no,
hey, I never said I wanted to find parts of her mom. I just wanted.
That was 100% me. I will own that. And you can yell at me at mskimmyd85. But yeah, so Keyleth finally gets her vestige, and it is badass. She had her fun throughout the week of just posting parts of it.
That was hilarious.
Also posting terrible puns, which I loved. CSI Investigation. God, what were the other ones? Inspired or conspiracy theories. It's pretty badass. It's got 20 charges. If she rolls a 1 on a damage die that deals fire, cold, or lightning damage, she gets to re-roll them. It can cast a multitude of elemental spells like Fireball, Chain Lightning, Ice Storm, and Firestorm. And then Conjure Elemental?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
What's interesting about that is that Conjure Elemental is actually a spell that takes a minute to cast, but the staff on it says that you can spend an action to cast one of these spells, so she can actually now conjure elementals as an action, which is kind of insane. She can just do that in the middle of a fight.
Mm-hmm. And
that's super neat.
It's kind of a weird story point, though, because it is an Ashari leader's staff. And I guess druids are real tied with Melora, and that was kind of her staff. Why you'd think she would have known about it prior to the whole Vestige story? Has she said that she kind of knew about this or had heard about it in her culture or anything like that?
No, just that she wanted it.
Yeah, I mean, I think everything we knew about it was told by Kamal Giori. I don't think anyone else knew anything.
Yep. Sorry. But yeah, no, she gets her vestige, and everybody's happy. Pike just needs to get hers before the war. Did you guys have any other stick-out moments?
Yeah, so there were a couple of things, that I mentioned that I wanted to mention at the end. First of all, we talked about Yank, going back to the abyss, not being a smart creature. I don't think he's necessarily going to have the vengeance that Hotis does, but theoretically he's going to be back there, and if there's any chance for him to maybe take revenge on Vox Machina, maybe that could happen. But again, he's not very smart. He does theoretically have like labyrinthine recall, which means that he kind of remembers like every path that he's ever taken, but he was kind of bamfed out of there with a gate spell, so he remembers that happened, but not necessarily how to get anywhere. I don't think we're going to be seeing Yank anytime soon again, although theoretically we could.
I now have this image of, because when they originally said Garistro, it's not like barista, of like Yank walking out of the work restroom and its boss being like, "You were in there for so long, why are you all bloody? You're fired." And it looks really sad, and that's why he wants to take revenge.
We need art of that now.
Yeah, I'm trying to cover up all my main things about Kiki's mom with funny things. This is me backpedaling. Is it working?
Yeah. And then a couple of things more about the staff, I guess. When this actually didn't show on the Twitch stream, but it was shown on the Alpha stream when I rewatched it. When Marisha's kind of like cuddling her new staff before she really knows anything about it, you hear like a loud crash in the studio, and you don't really know what happened, and everyone's kind of like yelling, and you hear like Lara start yelling, "Yeah, that's right, that's right." What actually happened was there's Voragol was actually, since he was in the air, was actually balancing on a pint glass on the map, and that actually tipped over and fell, and Voragol like went flying and landed on the floor. And that's why she was yelling at it. It was.
Did that not make it into the YouTube video? I saw that on the Alpha.
No, it did. It did. Okay. I watched it today.
Did you actually get to see it though? I heard it. I didn't actually see it happen.
Yeah. No, we didn't see it, but we heard all of it, and I could tell by their reactions what they were saying that Voragol had fallen down.
It was really funny. And then the other thing is after Matt actually gives Marisha the card, you see she and Taliesin are actually just reading it, and if you just look at Talisin's face, it's absolutely hilarious. His jaw physically drops 5 times while reading this thing, and the only word he can utter is "fuck," which he says 3 times within like 5 seconds of each other as he reads more of it, just clearly indicating how absolutely absurdly powerful this staff is.
Yeah, no,
it's more powerful than the staff of the Magi.
I think it's the best vestige that they've gotten so far, the best item they've gotten so far.
Yep.
I mean, it'll definitely help her reprioritize her spells, because now she can be more support in what she studies, and then the staff can be the source of any offensive spell she uses.
Okay, so now more speculation questions. So there's the 2 different kind of vestiges. There's like the arcane, and then there's the divine. Since this one was made from the breath of Melora herself, do we think there could be an awakening with this? The way Matt described it, it's the vines, and it's got like a floating orb. Could that be like a seed? And once it's back in the hands of a leader of an Ashari, like one who maybe finishes her Aramente, it'll bloom and she'll get like super powers.
See, here's, and this is where like I'm just gonna completely BS this part. This is entirely speculation on my part.
Oh, you took off the hat.
I'm taking off the hat. I'm throwing it to the ground. Okay.
Oh God, your hair's a mess. Put it back on.
Oh, okay, done.
Okay.
All right, I'm done.
Okay.
No. Okay. So in terms of awakening, like this is the part where you don't know what the DM has planned and what hasn't. My theory is that because Bax went the entire route of, okay, I'm going to, basically going the route of the Paladin and fully devoted to the Raven Queen, Matt was inspired to awaken it. I personally don't think it was already awakened ahead of time. I could be completely wrong on that, but my theory is that awakened items only come up when the DM thinks, oh yeah, that would be a cool featured add to it. That makes sense to the story.
Okay. Well, when did Vex take Paladin? Was it before or after he talked to Gilmore and the wings burst out for the first time?
Oh, let me see. What happened first, Hodis or Umbrasyl?
Hodis. No.
Okay.
Yes. It had to have been because he didn't know it flew.
That's true. Wait.
So yeah, it was Hodis.
I'm pretty sure he already had a level 1 Paladin before that.
Yeah, I thought he already had it because I thought when they discovered the wings, they were all like,
That's
that
right.
would have been useful.
Umbrasyl happened first, and then he became a Paladin, and then Gilmore unlocked it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you think that the items once unlocked, no matter who uses them, they stay unlocked, or does each user need to unlock them?
I hope it's the latter. Because that adds like another layer to any vestige. Like, does it have just one awakening? Will he have like seraphim wings and be able to fly super fast if he becomes even more devoted? I don't know. I think that'd be awesome.
Mm-hmm. Also, the person that's making the replicas of all the vestiges, those are all absolutely amazing.
They're badass.
Yeah, wasn't Taliesin trying on a cape at the beginning?
That part
was
get in front of the camera.
Alpha had the better video.
Oh man!
Because with Alpha, you could actually see him like intentionally blocking the cameras.
I had a Christmas story stuck in my head when he's in the bunny suit, and they're like, "Come down the stairs, take a picture." He's like, "Get in front of the camera!" No, the camera.
Yeah, because Travis was yelling at him. He was like, "Get down!"
Oh man. They're just giant children, and it's the best. So I think that just about covers this because we didn't get any of the fun looting until the episode on Thursday. Does anybody have any announcements? I know we as a podcast have one.
Mm-hmm.
Announce it.
Do it. Okay. I didn't.
I'm a woman.
Yeah, that's what it was. Kimmy found out in New York Comic Con that Herky is in fact a woman. That's his downstairs secret. No, we've had a bunch of hosts on Critical ReRoll, but we needed another one to fill in some slots, and so that's why Herky is on our 1 year episode, 1 year anniversary episode, because we're bringing him on as a new host. We're expecting very little from him. That way
I'm here to fill some slots.
Yep. So that's the main one. I know I'm going to try to get these uploaded onto YouTube in the future because we want to have a way of like having a description where we can put who all was involved in the episode. If we like reference anything, we can post links to that. We've also got the critical string theory. Dustin, I know you're in the chat. Tell me the name if you remember it because I can't remember it. But Dustin, Jack, and Mark on Twitter, what are their Twitters? Alt F4 Gamer is Jack, M Blaine 77 is Mark, and then Dustin is GeoNerd79. They're all going to do their own little podcast. There's not going to be like a schedule for them, but they're going to kind of dive in and look at what ifs from past episodes, like what if X had become a dragon? What if what if someone else got what if someone else got this certain vestige? Things like that. So look for them when we
look for critical conspiracies.
Yep.
Yes. Sweet.
Sorry, I totally stole your thunder, Jess.
No, you're good.
He is just GeoNerd. Everything else is GeoNerd79. On Twitter, he's just GeoNerd. Sorry, Dustin. I love you. And I think that is all I had. Anybody else have anything?
Well, we're almost done with the monster analysis because writing is hard. No, that's going to go up tomorrow along with all the detailed numbers and tables because you guys love your tables, and awesome pictures because you critter artists are freaking amazing. But yeah, the full fight analysis is going to go up tomorrow, hopefully in the morning if I don't get sleep tonight. No, I won't stay up that long. I love you guys, but I like sleep more. But yeah, monster analysis tomorrow. Check it out. On critrollstats.com.
Pew pew. Oh, is that? Oh, you have like a jingle. Pew pew. CritRollStats.com. Pew pew.
TM. No.
Cool. So that was it, I guess, for this 1 year episode of Critical Reroll.
Hold on, I was gonna say some stuff.
You were
Jeez.
quiet the whole time. I'm gonna.
I was waiting for Andrew to finish, and you just jumped in and forgot about Jess and Kimmy and I.
Jeez, Matt.
Well, okay,
come on.
Fine. I quit. This was actually me announcing that I was taking my spot. They thought it was funny to have me host the 1 year and then kick me off afterwards.
Pretty
basically.
much.
So go ahead, new Matt.
No, I just wanted to say that I'm excited to become a permanent host, and I've got some cool ideas in mind to actually make this thing a little more funny and entertaining. We'll see what happens. But yeah, you guys can follow me on Twitter and hit me up there if you're maybe interested in being guests or have any ideas for the show. I'm open to all of that. And
wait, Herc, but funny and entertaining. We can't change the entire format of this podcast.
I'm so sorry.
I mean,
we have to be boring and uninformative.
Yeah, that's sort of been our thing for the past year. So if you're gonna change and be funny and do like humorous things, I don't know if you're gonna be a good fit. Actually.
It's a new day, Kimmy. We'll see.
Oh man! All right.
On top of that, we've also kind of Andrew and I have talked about Alpha a little bit here and there. I'm going to be writing an article about it. I know it's kind of a little bit of a political and polarizing platform right now, but I'm probably going to be writing an article that's going to be up on Critters RPG to kind of just give you guys a better idea of what it looks like, Critical Role related. I mean, obviously there are other shows and whatnot, but just from a Critter standpoint, what Alpha looks like compared to the Twitch stream, and kind of give you guys a little insight to the people who are not in the early access and are maybe thinking about getting it eventually. So look for that article up sometime soon. I haven't written it yet, but it'll happen.
Jess, did you have anything?
Nope. Just wanted to make sure we talked about the new add-on podcast. And I mean, Herc is apparently making his own separate podcast because clearly the one he was describing is not the one we do.
Yeah, he's doing the abridged version. Kim, did you have anything?
There's gonna be animated YouTube videos. It's gonna be crazy.
Oh, yes, right. Nice.
Herc's taking over. He's already gone mad with power. We have to remove him after 0.5 episodes. No, I have nothing really to add. So Herc, yes, said he's going to be writing that article on Critters RPG. So that's it's not the defunct website of crittersrpg.com, but we haven't done much updating there in a while. I'm really going to be making a push to get more stuff up on there. So it's sort of the sister site to the Critters RPG Twitter account, which myself and Matt run. So yeah, hopefully kicking off with Herky's article, there will be more articles up there and not like spaced out 6 months at a time anymore. So fingers crossed, guys.
One thing I did, because I just turned over my notes, since we've been doing this for a year, I kind of wanted to ask everybody, like, how has your experience doing a podcast been this past year? And we'll go down the line. I want to start with Jess.
Pretty crazy. I mean, I if anyone follows me, they've seen for the last weekend that I was going bananas. I got to hang out with like one of my critter besties, and it's just bananas to think that like this community is such that, you know, like we all get to be together around something we love, and we get to connect and like make real connections. And similarly with the podcast, I know like I've been doing just like things like I've been watching Twitch streamers who I followed for a long time. And they're like, oh wait, you do that podcast? And I'm like, what? How you know this? I don't know. So yeah,
Yes, it's
amazing.
famous now.
Yeah, no, but yeah, just like so awesome. Feel so privileged, and thanks to everyone that listens. And now it's going to be funny soon because Herc's taking over.
Yep, he's taking over everything. Andrew, what about you? I know you do a lot of Crit Roll Stats stuff, obviously, because that is your name. But what about doing the podcast as like an extra thing? How's that been going?
Well, Jess already said everything that I wanted to say.
Sorry, not sorry.
No, she summed it up well. I mean, it is weird that people recognize my voice because I have a weird voice. No. Yes.
Yeah, we've been meaning to talk to you about that. Can you do
it? Yeah.
Is there anything you can do about that?
Apparently, well, is it funny enough for you, Herc?
Yeah, you pass.
Sweet. Okay.
I
guess we're keeping it, guys.
Yeah. I mean, I think with you, it's easier to like imprint on your voice because nobody has seen your face except for like a couple of us.
See, and that is one thing I've loved about this podcast because, I'd never got a camera and, let me made a bunch of those, chibis with, like, my face covered, and that kind of became, like...
Your lack of an identity.
My lack of identity, and I love it.
I still think of the day when I was getting, for whatever reason, getting a bunch of, like, baby pictures from critters, and you sent me a D4. I died. That made me laugh so hard, so thank you for that.
Yeah.
Kimmy, what about you being in like the back office with all the goblins that like to destroy things when we post them onto podcast things?
The goblins are my people. I don't know. I feel like I'm for a long time I was sort of like trying to stay hidden as far as Critters RPG went, and then that sort of went out the window, and now I'm like, hey, I'm Kimmy and I run Critters RPG. So when it comes to this podcast, I like that I'm sort of not in the front of it at all. It's nice to have this one thing that I'm part of, that I'm not slapping this stupid face of mine all over. So I like the anonymity I have with being involved with this podcast, I guess.
That's awkward because you have the next 10 episodes.
I'm not a host, and I'm not going to be a host, bastard. You can't make me.
Herky,
hey,
you...
Matt?
Oh, yeah. No, go ahead.
If I could be serious and not talk about my weird voice, one thing that I have loved about the podcast is being able to reach out to the other creative critters out in this community. Because there's a ton of you that are just so... I already said creative. Skilled.
Inspiring.
Talented. Thank you, Matasaurus. But no, but seriously, this has been a great opportunity because, as many of, I don't know how many Tumblr users use this, but there's kind of like this phantom thing where like, oh, you follow each other and you have your mutuals, but you don't like really talk to each other. And this has been a great opportunity to like, hey, we're going to go talk about something we like. Are you interested? And this has been a great way for, I've really appreciated getting to know a lot of you, even if it's only been for a few hours, or talking about the stuff that you guys create and what all you guys do. And, that's one thing that I'm really thankful for being on this podcast, just the opportunity to meet all of you amazing critters. And, you guys are great.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, we are.
Oh, it's
especially me.
It's fun when you like talk to a lot of people, like on Twitter or other social media. You get used to seeing all these names that you think everybody just knows each other. And then when you pull like two guests on the podcast and they're like, oh, I've never talked to you before. It's like a magical thing because like, oh man, these people haven't talked to each other before, but they instantly have that Critical Role connection. And so there's no awkward, like, I'm not going to talk because I don't know you. No, you just hit it off instantly. And it's more fun that way because like, as you say things, you're like, oh man, we have the same opinion. We just became best friends.
Right.
So it's
for example, I've never spoken to Andrew before. 5 minutes before we started this podcast, even though I'm very familiar with Crit Roll stats, and clearly we're the two coolest ones on here. So
I know, right?
Yeah, so
we both have punny voices. So,
ouch! I think you just got yourself fired.
Has Andrew ever burnt anyone like that before? That was pretty amazing. Like you.
I mean, it sounded like he called me funny, so that's exactly what I was going for.
Okay.
I feel like you got Andrew to rage a little bit. I think it's pretty good.
So looking at our Skype. We've been talking for an hour and 48 minutes. So in that hour and 48 minutes, Herky, that you've been in charge of Critical ReRoll, how has it been?
Well, I definitely don't feel like I'm in charge yet. But it's been pretty cool.
Well, my jacket's in the mail to you.
Oh, cool. Great. You did send me a shirt once. That was pretty cool. Thanks for that.
Oh, you sent me a wristband. Thank you for that. That's what Pike would have done.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's cool. I mean, I've been a guest before, but I'm pretty excited to see what it'll be like to be a host. I mean, it'll probably clearly be a little more work, but I take notes and stuff anyway, if that wasn't already apparent. I think it'll be fun.
All right. Well, I think.
But more than anything, like it's just really about the community.
Truth.
If it weren't for Critical Role, my life would be very different right now, and I've met a lot of super cool people because of that.
I was just thinking of that. I've met all but one of you in person. Jess, we need to hang out.
Yeah.
Why don't you guys come up here, man?
Too cold.
Hey, man, I will.
Good, do it.
Yeah, we'll do another live one, but like in person live. So I've said it like 3 times, but this one I think is for real. I think that wraps up for this episode of Refrigerated Pizza, the show where we order pizza, we refrigerate it, and then we eat it and review it. But we talk about Critical Role too, so that's kind of cool. Thank you guys for listening. We decided last minute to do this live, and I think it was a shitstorm, but it was the best kind of shitstorm. So thank you everybody who stuck with us.
Yeah, thanks for like 40 of you for hanging out here this whole time.
Yeah, so everyone say bye, but go bye with your names. Like, reintroduce yourself. I don't know how to talk anymore.
Bye. Thanks for coming out. It was really cool seeing everyone talking in the chat. And I'm Jess, or go_JG.
Love you guys. Bye. This is Andrew with Crit Roll Stats signing out.
And this is Kimmy. You guys are amazing. You've been sitting here for nearly 2 hours just listening to us talk and staring at a non-moving graphic, which just blows my mind because I would not have hung out for this long without an actual moving picture. So you're awesome. And I'm Miss Kimmy D85.
I'm Herky. I don't like long goodbyes like Kimmy. You can find me at Herkyavello. Goodbye.
And
I already love the direction the podcast is going.
Yep. That's everybody. Everybody say bye.
Bye, 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 bye.
Bye, 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 bye.